All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got the dramatic opening here with the burn barrel to bring an update on the garage project. I can't really see because it's dark, but here we go. Let's enter the garage and see what we got. You will notice we got stuff everywhere because I got about 10 bazillion projects going on at the same time. But you may also notice the floor. You may also notice my hands are dirty, and you may further notice that the floor is gravel. So we put a time lapse in here somewhere. The time lapse kind of got a little messed up. Not a big camera guy, but I'm gonna figure it out. So I got as much time lapse as I could, various things, me cleaning up a little bit, and then immediately, after I clean up, I just ruin everything and put stuff everywhere again. So I need to clean up again. But if you feel like watching some dude in his garage put stuff away in fast forward, I will put that in there. And furthermore, I also rented a mini skid. Got to drop off a mini skid from Facebook Marketplace. Very affordable. And you'll see us driving it. We had to dig this down, as you know, get all the dirt out and get the gravel in. There's no more giant gravel pile here in the dark that you can't see anyways. But so yeah, there's the update. The gravel's down, and boy, what a difference it makes. And now that begs the question, what is the next step here on the garage? And I'm not exactly sure how to answer that. I got a lot of next steps. I'd love to get some power in here. Right now the lights and the chargers and the various things I have here are run off an extension cord, which is not great to be permanently leaving an extension cord laying across my backyard. But yeah, extension cord. So I need to get some power in here. I'm gonna try to run not by myself. I'm gonna pay a professional to, show me how to run a sub panel from my main in here. So maybe I'll do some updates on that, do a video on that. That'd be pretty cool. So electrical is definitely up there. The roof is up there. Needs a new roof eventually. Yeah, I mean, you name it, this garage pretty much needs it. So the concrete floor, again, the concrete is not something I'm really gonna tackle myself. I'll likely help a contractor do a whole slab because they're gonna tell me exactly how it needs to be. It's not something that I can really just make up as I go. I want it, I want this concrete to last. So this brings up another talking point of from what I've seen, there's a bunch of different types of people in the world, but on this exact topic, I'd say there's two types of people. There's types of people who are the figure it out kind of person, and there's type of people who are, I'm just gonna pay somebody to do it because I don't know how to do it. And I'm assuming if you're watching this, you're probably the I'm gonna figure it out type person because that's what I am. But for an example of what I'm talking about, there's a massive pine tree. To me, it's massive. To a tree guy, it's probably not that big, but it's a 70-foot pine tree right in front of my garage door. The pine tree's got to go at some point. It already dropped one branch on the house, damaged my siding. Pine trees, personally not a fan of pine trees. They drop pine needles everywhere, yada yada. It's in front of the garage door. I can't even pull a vehicle in this garage because of this pine tree. I mean, there's another door, but it's just kind of an inconvenience. So the pine tree's got to go. So what do? I spend probably way too much money to buy all the tree gear to teach myself how to climb a tree. Wouldn't recommend unless you're very careful, which I'm not, so definitely wouldn't recommend. But teach myself how to climb this tree and take the limbs down one by one. I've done a lot of them. I've limbed it to probably the top 15-20 feet, still have limbs, and it's a little sketchy for me because I'm not experienced with the tree stuff. But my point is, how much of this stuff do you invest in the tools invest in the training, the learning, all that comes with it, the danger for tree work, that kind of thing. How much do you invest in that versus how much do you just pay somebody to just do it for you? On one hand, you have the lifelong skill you end up with. I don't think I'll ever forget how to climb a tree because I learned it myself, I taught myself, and I figured it out. If I just paid some dude to do it, I would never know how to do that. So I've already picked up a few side jobs with some other people that I've been helping them, small trees because I'm still real new. But it just kind of, you just start gathering all these skills. So, I mean, you want to be the guy who can do everything, or at least I do. I want to be the guy who can do carpentry, who can do plumbing, who can do electrical, who can do tree work, who can, the list goes on and on, mechanics, everything. So for me, that's the kind of stuff I get into. Like we're on the topic of I'm rambling now, I apologize. On the topic of the electrical system, I know a guy who does that. He's been doing it for 30 years, and that's a lot of what this is. It's connections. So I know the guy, he's gonna come over, I'm gonna pay him obviously for his time because his time is valuable, and I would never ask him to do it for free because I understand his time is very valuable, same as mine when I go help somebody else out. Sometimes there's situations where you're gonna help somebody out for free, but for the most part, you want to be compensated for your time. So I'm gonna pay him a reasonable fee for him to not only primarily do the work because he's the licensed electrician, but also the real benefit, and really what makes it worth it to me is I'm gonna be right there. He's gonna show me how to do it. And, even if he's not the greatest teacher, or he could be the greatest teacher, I never learned anything from him. But even if he's not, I'll still learn way more than I ever would trying to figure it out myself. And I'll probably survive, there's a high likelihood I'll survive. So that's pretty cool. I'll pay money for that. And then at the end of the day, I get electricity in my garage. So that kind of stuff, if you can find those connections, it's probably the best way to do that. And so I try to do that in just about everything. So I don't even understand my own point I was making, but there was a point in there somewhere, and hopefully you got something from it.